In this video, we're going to look at finding the perimeter of a semicircle in composite figures. So first, we're going to talk about a semicircle. A semicircle is half of a circle. The perimeter is made up of half of the circumference and the diameter length. So we're going to have to find both of those pieces in order to calculate the perimeter or the distance around a semicircle. Let's look at example 1. Find the perimeter of a semicircle. This arc of the semicircle is 1/2 of the circumference. The circumference would be if I continued all the way around the circle. So that tells me I need the circumference and I need to divide that by 2. That's going to give me just this arc. Once I have that distance, I'm going to then add the diameter of the circle, because if I were to walk around this entire semicircle, I'd walk the blue part and then I'd walk back on the green part, which is our diameter. So circumference cut in half, and then I'm going to add diameter. So in circumference, I'm going to use pi times diameter. So I have pi, which is 3.14, times the diameter, which is 6. From here, I'm going to divide that by 2. That's going to give me my blue section. Then I will add the diameter, which is 6. So I'm going to add 6 to that amount. Here, I get 3.14 times 6 is 18.84, and I'm going to divide that by 2 for a total of 9.94, and add 6 for a total of 15.42 meters of distance. So again, I found the circumference with my calculation of pi times diameter. I cut that in half by dividing by 2, because again, I just want half of the circle. Then I added that finishing distance. In B, I'm given the radius. We discussed how if I take the radius as 11, that means the diameter is twice that, 22. So I need circumference divided by 2. That's again the arc of the circle. And then I'm going to add the diameter distance. Add the diameter distance. So 3.14 times diameter, which we found to be 22. Cut that in half and add the diameter. Now the diameter is not 11, that's the radius. Diameter was 22, so I need to add 22 to that amount. Alright, so I do this first calculation. 22 times 3.14 is going to give me 34.54, and then I need to add 22 to that amount. So 34.54 plus the diameter of 22 gives me a final distance of 56.54 centimeters. Why don't you go ahead and pause the video here and try the next try it problem. Alright, looking at this problem, again, circumference divided by 2 plus the diameter. Circumference is going to be 3.14 times the diameter, which we know is 8. I'm going to divide that by 2. Then I need to add the diameter, and the diameter is 8. So I'm going to add 8 to this amount. I get 12.56 plus 8 for a total of 20.56. Now we're going to look at a composite shape. A composite shape is a shape made up of multiple other figures. So we're going to look at the perimeter of these distances. In this first figure, I have my composite shape is made up of 4 squares and 2 half circles or 2 semicircles. I need a distance on this, so I'm just going to make this a distance of, let's say, 3. Let's make the square length 3. So everywhere I see that length, I have a distance of 3. If I were to add up all my straight sides, I have 1, so I have 3, plus 3 is 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 3 is 12, plus 3 is 15, plus 3 is 18. So all of the straight sides have a total of 18. Then I have to add the 2 semicircles. Well, I'm going to think about this in terms of full circles. 1 circle plus the same half circle is going to equal 1 complete circle. So I can actually, for this, just find the circumference of this, what would be full circle. That circle has a diameter of 6. Now, I could find it, cut it in half, and then add another half. It's going to get me that same answer. So here I have 18 plus circumference of this, what would be circle, would be 3.14 times its diameter of 6. So I would do 18 plus the 3.14 times the 6 for a total of 3684. Since I don't have a unit, I'm going to just say units. In our second figure, we again have 2 squares, and this is a quarter of a circle. Quarter of a circle. So it's not a semicircle, it's not a full circle, it's going to be a quarter of a circle, which if I want a quarter of something, I'm going to divide it by 4. So let's give a dimension here. Let's call these 2. And again, I'm just making up that number for this problem. You would be given that value to begin with. Alright, so if I add up all my sides, I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I have a total of 12 in the straight parts of this figure. And then I need to add this arc, just this arc. Now this arc is a fourth of the circumference of what would be that circle. So I want the circumference of what this circle is, and I'm going to cut that into a fourth by dividing by 4. Alright, so if this here is a quarter of the circle, this is a radius. So the radius is 2. The diameter would be 4. So it takes a little bit of critical thinking to kind of think what that larger circle would look like. 12 plus circumference, 3.14 times the diameter, which is now 4, or is 4, I should say. And we would cut that into a fourth. This is going to give me 12 plus 3.14 times 4 is going to be 12.56. Divide that by 4, I get back to 3.14 for a total distance of 15.14 units. Why don't you give the try it, and I'm going to give you a dimension of 5 for the straight edges. So why don't you pause the video here and try to calculate that circumference or perimeter using a unit of 5. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do so. So my straight sides are going to be 5, 10, 15, 20. So I start off with 20 and that's just the straight sides of the figure. And then I want to add the arcs. Now, if I have a quarter circle and a quarter circle that have the same radius, that equals 1 semicircle. So a semicircle would be the circumference divided by 2. The radius of that circle is 5, meaning the diameter is 10. 20 plus 3.14 times 10 divided by 2. So 20 plus 3.14 times 10 divided by 2. 35.7 units. And then you can find the perimeter of a semicircle and a composite figure.